Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sober Open Mic Night in September. Glad y'all are here. Welcome to all of you joining us online, too, on YouTube or Facebook. We're glad you are joining us to celebrate tonight because that's what we're going to do. We're going to celebrate each performer that takes the stage because y'all have done incredible work in preparing, and we get to cheer them on, and it's going to be all kinds of fun. Hey, if you don't know who I am, I'm Ryan Kennedy. I'm the pastor and executive director here at Free Recovery Community. We are a community for addicts, loved ones of addicts, and spiritual refugees, and what we do here is break the silence of addiction and create space for healing, recovery, and spiritual connection. And if you're interested in what this community is about, you can check us out online at freerecoverycommunity.com. If you're looking to get plugged into your recovery, we have over 35 groups that meet here. All of that's on the website or the app. We do services here on Saturday nights at 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. And if you want to know more, talk to me. I'm happy to answer any questions, or you can talk to any staff member here. Or again, check us out online or the app. And is Vince here? We partner with the Phoenix every other month to host these sober open mic nights. Usually Vince would come up at this time and say a few words about the Phoenix. We can save Vince for after our first performance. Let me just give some house rules really quick. Here in this community, we have a tagline here. We say it every Saturday night together. There's a lot of things we do, but there's one thing we don't do. If you know those 4 words, shout them out on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. We don't do shame. So there's no shame in this community. We cheer for each other. We root for each other. It's how we do recovery. It's how we do life. It's how we're going to do tonight. Vince is up here. Come on up, Vince. Let me say one other house rule. So house rule for you performers. You get 6 minutes. At 5 minutes, the tech team in the back, they're going to shine a light. That's your 1-minute warning. If you go over, so that's the 5-minute warning. If you go another minute and 1 second, at that 1 second, you get totally closed down. Bobby told me he's going to start throwing things, cutting the mic. My mic just cut out. We're back. That's what's going to happen. You're going to get mic cut, lights go down. That's your sign to exit. But we'll try to be really nice about that. Right, Bobby? Yes, we're going to be really nice about that. So 5 minutes and then a 1-minute warning to bring you to 6. Vince, you want to tell us a little bit about the Phoenix and what you do at the Phoenix?
Yes. Hello. Sorry I was absent there. Got caught up. Carrie found me. Was like, do you want to say anything? And I was like, oh, God, I didn't realize it was time. My name is Vince Huseman. I'm the Community Engagement Manager at the Phoenix. We are a nonprofit organization igniting a sober, active movement across the nation. We are committed to building sober community, and we do that through many different events and activities that are all free to anybody with 48 hours of sobriety. So if you've been sober for 2 days, you can participate in any of our events and activities for free, from fitness classes, outdoor activities like rock climbing, hiking, mountain biking, to concerts and open mic nights and comedy events. Really any way that we can bring people together in a sober and sober-supportive environment is what we do. Everybody is welcome, as I mentioned. In recovery, if you're in recovery like myself, maybe you're a supporter or an ally of someone who is or has struggled with substance use, or you're sober curious and just looking to have more sober experiences, you are welcome at Phoenix Programming. But we can't do it alone. We do it in partnership with incredible organizations like Free, and you probably already given them a shout out, but a shout out to our sponsors, Hornbuckle Foundation and Colorado Artists in Recovery. They sponsored the entire year of open mic nights. Please just stop by the tables and check out the amazing programming they're offering for people in need. And yeah, if you want to learn more about Phoenix Programming, we have an app. It makes it really easy for you to RSVP for events. We are in every single state. So if you're ever traveling and you want to find some sober community near you, you can find that through the app. But if you want to learn more about our programming, please, I'm Vince. Come chat with me. I'll be here all night. I appreciate you all, and we'll keep the show rolling. And I'm going to hand this back to Ryan. There he is. All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right, thank you, Vince. First up, KK is going to come join us, and she's going to play a couple of songs. KK, the stage and the mic is yours. Let's give her some love.
Hi, guys. How is everybody tonight? Good. Like usual, I am just so grateful to be up here and to have this opportunity, to have this space that people put on to come up here and try out my songs and get comfortable performing. It's always very nerve-wracking. But I would also like to say I've got family in the house tonight. My aunt is here, my mom is here, and my awesome son is here as well. So I'm going to start with a little cover. This is one of the songs I learned in sober living so that I didn't freaking lose my sanity. The original artist on this song, her name is Robin, and this is Dancing on My Own. Whew. Somebody said you got a new friend. Does she love you better than I can? There's a big black sky over my town. I know where you're at, I bet she's around. Yeah, I know it's stupid, but I just gotta see it for myself. I'm in the corner watching you kiss her. Oh, I'm right over here. Why can't you see me? Oh, I'm giving it my all, but I'm not the girl you're taking home. Ooh, I keep dancing on my own. I just wanna dance all night. I'm all messed up, I'm so out of line. Stilettos and broken bottles, I'm spinning around in circles. I'm in the corner watching you kiss her. Oh, I'm right over here. Why can't you see me? Oh, I'm giving it my all, but I'm not the girl you're taking home. Ooh, I keep dancing on my own. Thank you. All right, this next one I just recently wrote this. It's not titled, it's not finished. The way I like to look at songwriting is I'm really just a vessel. And when I get myself into the right state of mind and I, get my body and my mind right, then inspiration just kind of flows through me. So this song just kind of fell out this past weekend, and I am already so in love with it, and I hope that you guys are as well. I've got my stories, got my secrets, got some things I could never speak of. Under these scars, under my skin, I found a world I can live in. Some say they know me, but I be continued. Thank you guys so much. I'll pass you off to the next person. Have a great night.
So good to have you here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Next up, we're going to do a little storytelling with Jeffrey Smith. Yeah, Jeff, you can come on up. Jeff, it's your first time as a performer at Sober Open Mic Night. All right, man, I'm glad that you are brave enough to take the stage, and the mic is all yours, so you can start when you're ready.
All right, guys, I'm a little under the weather, but I'll be locked in. So there's a story I heard a long time ago, kind of relate to my life. There's a coastal town that just comes out from a coastal storm, and they're coming out to see how bad the storm had damaged their town. And as people are coming up, there's this guy. He comes up and he looks around and he's looking at all this stuff that's happened to this town. And as he's looking, he looks real close to the beach. And as he sees the beach, he sees there's this discoloration all along the beach, all the way down. And it's about a 3-foot tall pile of starfish. And these starfish are just sitting out there dying. And when he's looking even further, and he's seeing that there's some movement. And it looks like a little boy in there. And that little boy is doing something, and he has to go figure that out. So he just takes off running. And the closer he gets, I wish I had my right hand to use here, guys. But the closer he gets, he sees that this boy's throwing starfish back into the ocean. And he gets there and he shows up and he tells that boy, "What are you doing? You can't save them all." And that little boy doesn't even skip a beat. He's just throwing his starfish. Is that a good throw with my left hand? Okay. All right. He's just throwing them. And he says it again. And that boy looks up and he just keeps throwing. And as he's watching these starfish out there in the ocean, and they're coming back. They're floating back in. Most of them are coming back in. And not all of them, no. Not all of them. But most of them are coming back in. And this man, he's in such doubt. He says, "You're not going to save them. You're not going to save any of them." And the kid, he just grabs one. "I saved that one." "And I saved that one." All you got to do is save one, you see? And what I realized about this story is that I'm the starfish that people have been trying to put back in the water. You know, put back in that water over and over until one day I realized my grandma and my grandpa, they're not here no more. You know, the people that tried before in my life, they're not here. And then I met somebody a couple years ago. They kept throwing me in the water. They brought me here to Colorado. Kept throwing me in the water. "I love you. I believe in you." I kept winding back up on the shore, you see? And what we got to realize is that the people around us, after I learned from the people that are closest to me and that are my friends, that says, "Hey, this is what you got to do. This is what you got to do. You got to get you a sponsor. You got to do this by yourself. You got to get yourself back on the shore or in the water, so to speak." Those people close to me, like my new sponsor, these people have been throwing starfish back in the water for a long time and seeing them come back up on that shore over and over and over. And it's time that we kind of take a look at how hard they're trying to help us, you see? And that's where I'm at right now in my life, where I'm looking at all these people, and my stubborn ass keeps looking back at the way I used to do it, and I can do this on my own. Self-will. Let me do this on my own. And no. Is that some kind of timer? Okay. and so I read out of the big book on Sundays. My my sponsor will read out of that thing. And I got a couple people that I know keep throwing them starfish back in. Jerome, Carrie, Ryan, Eric, Ryan Nuss. These people have been throwing people back in the water, watching them float back up. Throwing them back in the water, watching them float back up. Over and over. Just imagine, isn't that like a postal job? You know what I mean? You keep seeing that mail come back in and in and in. And I just wanted to give a big thanks to all those people that kept throwing me back in the water. Because through this journey in the last few months that I've been on my own, trying to figure it out on my own, I've been crawling back to the water, little by little, and seeing that this journey is not for somebody else to throw me back in the water. This journey is for me to swim on my own, and it's for me to pass this on. And so I don't give a damn I got one arm. I don't care if, I might look stupid. I might hit somebody tonight. Somebody might get thrown back in that water tonight. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And, I want to apologize to the ones that maybe have tried to throw me back in that water and have loved me through the pain and the struggle, and that maybe that my life now and me crawling back to that water will prove that you were worth it, and anybody else that did put it in my life was worth it. And I'm not really sure where this time is going right now, but I will say that pay attention to those that are throwing you back in the water, for they're watching you come back ashore, or they're watching you stay swimming. Hard-headedness only gets you so far. There's a saying for that, too. I don't know if I can set it up here, though. This South Pass, but yeah. Anyway, that's really all I got, guys. This is the story that I heard a long time ago in a boarding school that I was at, and by a preacher that got up and he gave me the story, and this was almost 30 years ago. But I know it will relate to my life, and hopefully it will relate to somebody else's. And, I know I got the balls to get up here, so I'm going to do what I got to do. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jeff. First-time performer at Sober Open Mic Night. Good stuff, Jeff. Hey, we just want to take a moment break to invite Ann Taylor up here. Ann is with Colorado Artists in Recovery. You guys are used to seeing, yeah, we can clap for Ann. Darren Valdez is the executive director. You're used to seeing Darren up here. Darren couldn't be here this evening. He's at another event. And you're an instructor with CARE, right? No. On the board with CARE? Yes. Okay. I was going to keep going down the list. I knew you did something. So Ann's going to tell you a little bit about Colorado Artists in Recovery. They're one of the sponsors of this event, and we're so grateful. So tell us a little bit about what y'all do.
Okie doke. Thank you, Ryan. I'm Ann, and I'm in recovery myself. And I was somebody who benefited from Colorado Artists in Recovery, and I couldn't be more proud to be up here. It's an organization that I'm obnoxiously passionate about. The origin is that I was never an artist. My sister died 12 years ago of addiction. She was an artist, and I wish to hell that there would have been a program for her. And in her honor, I picked up a paintbrush, and now I consider myself an artist. We are a nonprofit organization. We have free classes for anybody in recovery, struggling with addiction, in recovery from a mental disorder. It's a safe place to go and just be with people that are like-minded, and you can just let your hair down and be who you are. You do not have to be an artist. It's about creative expression. I believe that creative expression is the soul speaking, and sometimes it takes us a little bit of time to uncover that soul again, and so it's a great place to get back in touch with who you are and where you belong in this big, crazy world. I myself still participate. I am a board member, but I love doing the classes. There's everything from guitar, violin classes, improv, Yoga, yes, yoga is a creative expression. We've got piano, painting, drawing, you name it, we've got it. The classes run throughout the year, and we just welcome everybody to come and join us in any of these classes. Every Sunday there's an open studio, either virtually or in person, and you can just come and color in a coloring book if you want, which is really, really fun, I have to say. I'm trying to remember everything I was going to say, which is not going to happen. But we have a table over here. There is a scan code, just like they have with Phoenix or whatever, that will tell you a lot about the organization and how to sign up for classes. I will be here. Feel free to come up and ask me about any of the opportunities that are available. And I just really, really encourage any of you that think you're not an artist to challenge yourself and join us. That's all I have.
That's good stuff. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Ann. Thank you, Colorado Artists in Recovery, for all the great work you do in the community and here on these evenings. We're so grateful to have you all here. All right, where's Deborah? Is Deborah in the house? Deborah is in the house. Now, Deborah, you're probably going to notice I did not say your last name. I'm going to try it, and you tell me if I say it right. Listaka? Oh, I was close. Lustoka. Listoka. Deborah Listoka is here with some comedy, right? Thank you for being here. Take it away. You can use that one.
What up, Free Recovery? How we doing? It feels so good to be back in the IKEA showroom, all right? I like this stage a lot. I'm just waiting for Oprah to pop out, like, you get a vape, and you get a vape. It's giving talk show vibes, and I'm here for it. I also like how the pastor started off, and he's like, there's no shame here, okay? There is no shame here. But if you go over your time by 1 minute, we're cutting the mic, we're turning off the lights, everyone's gonna boo you off stage, but there's no shame here. I like that. Here's a fun fact for you. Did you know the average person has sex with at least 8 ghosts per year while sleeping? Yeah. No wonder why I'm so gassy. You have to imagine that when they come, it's just like, I'm not sure why ghosts only do anal, but who am I to judge, right? Welcome to the show, sir. He looked very surprised. Very surprised by that punchline. And I apologize for your child hearing that joke. I did quit drinking 3 years ago. If you don't clap, yes, thank you. Thank you very much. About 6 months after I quit drinking, I started to do stand-up comedy. In retrospect, I realized I was just looking for a way to replace the shame in my life. This is it. Haven't had a drop to drink. I'll still wake up tomorrow like, what the hell did you say last night? Especially that ghost shit, right? When I started doing comedy, I was pretty surprised to see just how many other comics didn't drink. I thought that was kind of cool. But it wasn't for health reasons or because they want to keep their minds pure for their art. It's because their cars won't start if they do. The old blowing the steering wheel to make the car go game, that's right. They say the younger generation is drinking less, which I think is adorable. As a Gen Xer, I don't think we had that choice, okay? It wasn't a matter of if we were gonna drink, it was a matter of don't be a fucking pussy, Kyle. Our friends weren't like, hey, you can lie down if you aren't feeling well. They said, puke and rally, you stupid bitch. No one ever said, you don't need to drink that disgusting drink we made with 6 different kinds of liquor. They said, chug, 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 chug. If it sounds like us Gen Xers grew up in a frat house, it's because we did. Holding our friends' hair back while they puked was what brought us closer together. Blacking out and trying to make out with their dads is what drove us apart. Any other Gen Xers in the house? Hell yeah. It's like a Gen X meetup, it feels like in here. The name of our frat house was Kappa Alpha Unresolved Trauma. I felt like a couple of you maybe tightened up when I said unresolved trauma. You don't need to do that, okay? Unresolved trauma isn't entirely bad. I realize it has its positive qualities. A lot of the entertainment in our lives comes from unresolved trauma. For instance, the drunkest guy at the party wearing the lampshade on his head, brought to you by unresolved trauma. Those hot girls dancing at the bar at 1 a.m., unresolved trauma. Karaoke, unresolved trauma. It's not all bad, you know. In fact, I would say the funnest parties I've been to are just filled with people with unresolved trauma, right? For example, before I got sober, started doing therapy, I would go to parties, get completely shithouse drunk, be freaking with the Christmas tree, right? Be all up on that tinsel, like, let's go. There wouldn't even be music playing, and I'd be making up a dance routine with the dog, you know? I was having a good time. Now I show up to the party stone cold sober, sipping on a kombucha like, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? I don't get invited to many parties anymore, you guys. It's all right. I started drinking at a young age, you know, the whole Gen X thing. So by the time I quit in my 40s, my whole body was like, thank God, right? My whole body, except for my crotch. Anyone else get kind of slutty when they drink? Couple of you? Okay, the rest of you just blacking out and holding hands? Got it. Your sex ed teachers would be very proud of you. Good job. Didn't know I was performing for a bunch of prudes, but that's cool. That's cool. I got a little slutty, so that's when my crotch is like, ooh, girl, you sure? And I'd be like, yes, girl. You didn't have to hear him invite me to the Olive Garden because he had a gift card that was burning a hole in his pocket. I don't think there'd be any sort of overpopulation problem if our genitals had ears. I definitely wouldn't have banged that guy who kept saying cool beans. You guys seem like a hip crowd. Are you familiar with the term edging? Yes. Yes. Okay, I love that. In unison. If you don't know, edging's when you purposely withhold your orgasm for as long as possible. I recently found out that I'm actually pretty into edging. Except I call it something different. I call it taking Lexapro. If you know, you know. All right, you guys are an awesome crowd. Thanks so much for coming out tonight.
Thank you, Deborah. Good to have you here. Oh, you never know what we're going to get on these nights, do you? Never know what you're walking into. Hey, I just want to say a quick word. If you need a latte or a coffee or a breakfast burrito or maybe even a muffin, because you know, like the muffin's the healthier choice of a donut. The cafe's open till 9 o'clock, so you have another hour and a half left to hit up the cafe if you need something to drink or eat. But before you hit the cafe, Sarah, you want to come join me up here? Sarah Hornbuckle, ladies and gentlemen. The Hornbuckle Foundation is our other sponsor for these year-long events that we're doing.
Yes.
And Sarah runs the Hornbuckle Foundation. And tell us a little bit about what the Hornbuckle Foundation is and what y'all do.
Sure. Thanks. Loved the comedy routine, first of all. That was amazing. So every time I get up here, I always get up here like in tears. So whether, I think it was your song last time, I was like, I hope I'm not next. My God. I'm either laughing until I'm crying, or I'm crying because the songs are so beautiful and this art is amazing. So thank you for allowing me to be here. When Darren came to me and asked me to sponsor, man, it's something that I was so excited to do. And I love that I get to be a part of this this entire year. Usually my daughter comes with me. Her name is Bella, but she's 14 and tired and moody, so we left her at home. Just kidding. She's just tired. No, I'm not. Anyway, okay. Anyway. So we provide sober living scholarships for people that are coming out of residential treatment. And we pair that up with our coaching program. And we have a few different recovery programs that we do. We also have a recovery community center in Littleton near Kipling and Chatfield. On this table over here, there's a flyer for our youth nights. We teach free art and music lessons to kids ages 11 to 16. It's always we always bring up like a theme of good coping skills or setting boundaries or finding joy. Art and music naturally raise, I call them, all the happy juices in your brain. So doing art and music is really vital, I think, to the next generation, which is why CAR is so amazing as well. And you killed it, by the way. I'm going to let Darren know you did a good job. We host fentanyl awareness nights as well every other month. So for people who need Narcan or Narcan training, we try to teach our community how to stay safe. One of my favorite groups is our grief support group on Tuesday nights. It's every Tuesday night. You can even join on Zoom from 7 to 8 p.m. One of the leading causes of addiction is grief. So unresolved grief. We experience grief before, during, after, and for the rest of our lives. It is part of life. So similar to getting stuck in addiction, you can get stuck in grief and have this inability to move forward. So I personally run that meeting. I love it. It's something great to be a part of. So if you are in recovery and you just feel a little bit stuck, just kind of think about that. And if you want to join us, we'd love to have you. I am a starfish thrower. Sometimes aggressively, but sometimes gently. I heard that story right before we started the foundation programs in 2019. And I remember thinking, if I could just help one person, that's all I was looking for. And that one person turned into 2 and turned into 3, and now we've scholarshiped over 500 people, but also have coached over about 2,000, I think, is where we're at. And I sit back and I'm just so fucking grateful. So grateful. And I get emotional about that, y'all, because I watch families recover. I watch kids get their parents back. I watch little boys get their heroes back. I watch little girls who miss their mom so much be able to reunite. I watch parents who haven't slept in 3 years finally sleep. I get to see all of that, and some days I'm so tired, you guys, because sometimes people don't make it, right? That starfish comes back, and you start to question, did I do enough? Did I help enough? Should I made one more phone call? Should I have not been too aggressive, right? Or should I have been more helpful? So I wrote the song. It's called Any Other Way. And I wrote it last week, and I thought, oh, cool, I have Sober Mic Night coming up, so I get to share this with you guys. And then it's about being gratefully exhausted. So in recovery, it's a lot of work when you get into recovery. It's a lot of work. You got a lot of people telling you what to do and things that you don't want to hear. You get to be in a lot of uncomfortable situations. You get to make amends. You get to face humiliation and work through shame. And then if you decide to, start helping other people, it opens up your eyes, and you get to see what you put people through. And resolve that you never want to go back to that again. So this song that I wrote, it applies to my job, but it also applies to my family. I have 3 teenagers, God help me. And they keep me busy, and every once in a while I experience burnout. I think a few times a year, I get so exhausted and so overwhelmed, I get frustrated and I get afraid, or I get really, really sad when somebody doesn't make it. But I understand that I can't stay stuck there. And frankly, I wouldn't have it any other way. So that's what this song is called. You got me? Can you hear the guitar? time to think about my life, what I really want and I don't. See, I spend my time in this phase of life, caring for people around. And they all eat a lot, and they talk even more, and I'm burning through gas like a Ford. But I wouldn't have it any other way. No, I wouldn't have it any other way. They say everyone's fighting a battle you don't know anything about. Well, I'm fighting 100 battles each day, and I don't need reminding to pray. 'Cause I fall into bed, aching and tired, thanking God that I have it so good. And I wouldn't have it any other way. No, I wouldn't have it any other way. 'Cause any other way would mean days without you, and those days are coming too soon. So I wouldn't have it any other way. No, I wouldn't have it any other way. No, I wouldn't have it any other way. No, I wouldn't have it any other way. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Sarah Hornbuckle. And thanks for all the work you all do at the Hornbuckle Foundation and all the starfish you're throwing back aggressively, violently. All right, thank you, Sarah. Next up, so we're going to do 2 more performances. Do y'all want a little rundown of the schedule? Yes, you need a rundown. We'll do 2 more performances, then we'll take a little short 10-minute intermission. For those of you online, don't go anywhere. You'll have like a timer on a screen. It'll count down 10 minutes. So get something to drink at your house or something to eat or whatever you're doing at home or wherever you are and rejoin us. But the first of 2 performers, Maddie. Where's Maddie? Maddie, right here in the second row. You're going to come sing for us? All right. He's going to do poetry and singing. We get the double show tonight. Come on up, Maddie. It's all yours, dude.
Hello. So this is a poem I wrote a little over a year ago, and it's appropriate for the venue. This is called Tired Angels. My angels are tired, and somehow or other, they've not yet expired. They still keep an eye and a watch out for me, and they're hoping to heaven to set my soul free. The rush is long gone, and now I only feel pain, 'cause the booze I drink now, it makes me insane. And the cravings for comfort bring no joy to my brain, and my thoughts of potential washes my life down the drain. I know in my heart that I'm riding the edge, and if I don't give up the bottle, I will fall off the ledge. And to give up the booze is this foggy, gross dredge. The promises whiskey convinces me to believe. I know deep in my conscience it's just a con to deceive. Is this a choice I am making, or is it my disease? My friends and my family, I want so much to please. An insurmountable problem, how to deal with myself, can actually be resolved with the right kind of help. So in the past I've tried this, and today I try that. I don't want treatment too skinny or interventions too fat. So the basic core question, it's quite easy to see. I have to decide who it is that is me. And often I ponder whom it is that is God, but it's the guy in the mirror who truly needs the right nod. And sometimes I feel faith, but then I feel like a fraud. So many things on this earth I still want to discover, but to live a spiritual life, first I have to recover. There's still so many people who want to hear what I have to say, and perhaps it's just those connections, which is my way to pray, and the deal with the devil is to push them away. The next appropriate question is what to do now. I need to get better, but I'm not really sure how. I know I cannot stay in treatment forever, so where do I find that knife to cut my alcohol tether? I could take the option to sell my old house and pick somewhere random, live somewhere else. Or maybe my choice is to live in my van and have cool adventures wherever I ran. But to uproot my life, man, I'm not sure if I can. It sounds quite appealing to live on a boat and follow winds of the seas wherever I float. But one way or another, I do have to work, or be found dead of starvation, alone in the dirt. I want to live better. That I do know for sure. So please pray for me now that I find my life cure. This is a tune, quick tune by Gillian Welsh. Oh me, oh my, oh, won't you look at Miss Ohio, driving around with her rag top down. She says she wanna do right, just not right now. She's gonna drive to Atlanta, live out this fantasy, running around with her rag top down. And she says she wanna do right, just not right now. Well, he's got his hand around his shoulder like a regimental soldier, and Mama starts talking about a wedding gown. She keeps saying that she wanna do right, just not right now. Oh me, oh my, oh, won't you look at Miss Ohio, driving around with her rag top down. She says she wanna do right, just not right now. Oh well, I know all about it, so you don't have to shout it. Gonna straighten it out somehow. She says she wanna do right, just not right now. Oh me, oh my, oh, won't you look at Miss Ohio, driving around with her rag top down. She Says you wanna do right, just not right now. Thank you all. I'm Maddie.
Thank you, Maddie, for the poetry and the song. Beautiful stuff, brother. Glad you're here. Next up, we have Lo. Where's Lo? Is Lo here? There's Lo. All right, Lo, come on up. She's going to sing for us. Lo, is it your first time here at a Sober Open Mic Night? Another first timer. You know how we handle that, y'all. You want a stool? Yeah, that would be great. Okay, that's all for you. And you got a mic, and now you get to take it away. I'm glad you're here, Lo.
Hold on. Chris, give me a sec.
Oh, thank you. Hi, guys. This is a song I wrote called One More Time. Oh, shit. Hey, just wanted to tell you I really like the shape of your eyes. I wanted to ask you, are you doing anything later tonight? 'Cause last night was real nice, had me stumbling, starry-eyed down the sidewalk. Press your lips against mine one more time. Oh, press your lips against mine one more time. One more time. Hey, just wanted to tell you I really like the way that you smile. I wanted to ask you, could this be for more than one night? 'Cause last night was real nice, had me stumbling, starry-eyed down the sidewalk. Oh, press your lips against mine one more time. Just press your lips against mine one more time. One more time. Thanks, guys. If I have enough time, I want to do one more short song for y'all. This song is called Sunset. That seems to be the theme of the night for me. I'm starting to feel a little too tired, a little unrequited and a little unrequired. I tell myself I'm alright, but my brain tells me that I'm a liar. So I'll scream at the sunset, waiting for something, just what it is I don't know yet, and I'm trying to figure out my own head, struggling to remember how to just get out of bed, feel something again, feel something good again, just feel something again, feel something good again. Losing every chance I'll never take. Try and let the world just fade away, and I'm tired of seeing my own face. Maybe I just want something to blame. So I'll scream at the sunset, waiting for something, just what it is I don't know yet, and I'm trying to figure out my own head, struggling to remember how to just get out of bed and feel something again, feel something good again, just feel something again, feel something good again. Thank you.
That's what we get for a first timer. You're welcome here anytime, Lo. Good stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if it's your first time here, bathrooms are straight back out these doors, and the cafe is straight out here if you need something to eat or drink. We're going to see you right back here. You're not going to want to miss the next person, Joe Huseman, with comedy. What's that? What's that? Oh, yes. Hey, if you haven't checked in at the Phoenix table, Vince said the room is double of what's actually checked in. So if you haven't checked in yet, please go check in with the Phoenix table. It's how they get a lot of their funding, by keeping track of numbers. So do them a solid and check in at the Phoenix. And we'll see you back here in 10 minutes.
will soon change.
Check, check. There it is. All right, we are coming back. Hello, everybody. I am not Ryan. I have hair. Not as many tattoos. I'm also not a stand-up comedian, so I'm not going to do too many jokes. But I am the host for the rest of the evening. Great to see you all. We're going to keep this show rolling. Raise hands if you've ever met someone with the last name Huseman besides myself. Okay, so our next performer is Joe Huseman. The only other person I've met with my same last name, but round of applause for Joe. Joe, come on up to the stage.
As I said earlier, Vince, though, it is spelled Hugh is man for my spelling, so I think it's the more correct one. So it is a weird coincidence, though. Anyway, how y'all doing? Good? Yeah. As you said, my name is Joe Huseman. Something that I've discovered that I really hate just people. You know, you just need to find a new job, or you just need to quit drinking and do drugs. You just need to get your shit together. It's like, no, you just need to shut the fuck up. You know, these are the same people that tell me things like I have an addictive personality, which is really just a nice way of saying that a lot of the shit you enjoy doing is self-destructive. You know, like I used to be a drug addict. I know, I look like if I started a book club, I would insist on reading only the classics because modern literature just doesn't have enough depth. I look like I'd go to PTA meetings to try to bully them into serving only 2% because whole milk, well, I screwed that up. I look like I have HOA mandates memorized. And I could spot a non-compliant paint job from a mile away. Pretty sure you said this was going to be lemon zest. It's clearly dandelion wish. It's not the same color. But yeah, for most of my 20s, I was hooked on smoking crack. And if you don't know, smoking crack is basically smoking cocaine. In the 70s, they called it freebasing. In the 80s, they called it crack. So I fell for the rebranding. But come on, if they wanted it to fail, they should have just called it New Coke. Fortunately, I never got into that Crystal Pepsi, though, because that shit will fuck you up. You know, I did that joke at a show once a while back, and this old man came up to me afterwards. He's like, you know, Coke and freebase are not the same thing. I'm like, oh, he's a purist. And what a weird flex. Like, when I was your age, we used to burn our face off smoking Coke, unlike you snowflakes today. You know. But, you know, nobody chooses addiction. You know, nobody looks at that first line of Coke and thinks, sweet, this is going to fuck up my whole life. You know, it's not like you come to a crossroads or a fork in the road one day where one sign says full life's potential, and you're like, huh, well, what's down this way? Incarceration, insurmountable debt, extreme tooth decay. Yeah, I want those things. No, addiction is more like a kid on a big wheel at the top of a giant hill. You know, it starts out like innocent fun, but then suddenly you're moving so fast that you can't stop or get off, and the only way that ride ends is after you run over everybody you love and smash into a police car. There are those moments, though, where the hill levels out a little bit. You know, those moments where you feel like you have some control over your addiction. Yeah, those are the days between the 1st and the 15th. You know, how it started for me was I liked going to parties, but alcohol didn't work on me like it did for other people. You know, I skipped over the confident, funny part and went right from awkward weirdo to awkward weirdo that threw up on the dog. And that'll really ruin a party. I mean, you know what a wet dog does, right? Shakes it off. But yeah, then when I was 16, somebody gave me a line of Coke, and it changed everything. Suddenly I was funny, I was cool, and even the dog forgave me. But you know, smoking crack, that's some next level stuff. You know, those ads in the 80s weren't lying. I mean, who knew you'd get like life guidance from people like Mr. T and Pee Wee Herman and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I was like, these were like the lowest budget ads ever, too. You know, it's like you're going to use cartoon reptiles and a washed up icon that got caught masturbating in a movie theater. Like, but, sorry, I lost my place. But I do think crack is an untapped source of unlimited potential. I mean, if you want to see creative collaboration at its finest, just find a group of crack addicts that smoked their last hit and are trying to find more. They'll do just about anything. You know, NASA could show up right there and say, hey guys, there's an 8-ball on Mars, if you could get it, and they'd be like, oh, maybe we could modify that old Ford Pinto on the barn. All we got to do is fill up the gas tank and get rear-ended. See, the older crowd gets it. But you know, oh, I just got the light already. So one of the things I hate the most as an ex-crack addict is when people say things like, you know, compare things to crack. You're like, this caramel corn is like crack. Or these cookies are like crack. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you've never smoked crack before. I mean, would you ever work a double shift to buy a box of Thin Mints? You ever see somebody out on the corner at 3 a.m. trying to score some double stuffed Oreos? I can guarantee you nobody's ever sucked a dick for pecan sandies. I don't care how good your grandma's recipe is. But I did want to say real quick, you know, if you don't know, we did a show here. I produced a show called Second Chance Comedy. One of the comedians earlier, Deb with Stolka, that was on, she's part of the show. We got another one coming up later tonight. We've done shows all over. The goal of our show is to kind of chip away at the shame that we feel about addiction. You know, if we can get up here on stage and laugh about some of this shit, maybe we can feel a little bit better about it collectively. When I started this show, though, it was really like, you know, I started doing jokes and people were like, yeah, but you could do a show around that. And we kind of put something together and then we teamed up with a charity. And it quickly became something. But I'm noticing that there's this incredible community of people in recovery out there that I didn't even know existed. And it's just been an amazing journey to plug in with folks like all of you and just get to know more of you and just see, like, what's out there. This is a whole world to me that I didn't even know existed, and it's really changed how I look at things. I notice liquor stores on every fucking corner now. You know, never even paid attention to that. It's like I realized how big of a problem all of this stuff is in our society. And so I just think it's really amazing that there's places like this that people can gather and share and just be in some sort of a community that kind of supports each other, and it's just been a pretty amazing thing. But anyway, back on topic, I do produce a show called Second Chance Comedy. We did a show here back in, shit, when was that? September 12th? It was an incredible show. I don't know if anybody here was there. Okay. We have another one coming up on Saturday down in Colorado Springs at a place called the Carter Payne, and then on October 6th, we have another show at the Bug Theater. Keep looking for the mic stand and it's gone. He took it. But yeah, so if you're interested, we had a great show. All the comedians on the show are people that were impacted by addiction, sharing their stories, kind of laughing together, just kind of laughing through the pain together. And 20% of all ticket sales goes to support Sobriety House. It's a great show. Great time.
Check. All right. That is the first time that I've seen the mic cut. But big shout out to Joe and Second Chance Comedy. Shattering away at the stigma, which I think is just so important to do. So please chat with Joe after if you want to learn more about Second Chance Comedy. So we're going to keep it rolling here. Next up to perform, we've got Melanie. All right, Melanie, come on up.
Good evening. You guys having a great time? Yes. This is one of my favorite sober events. And so my name is Melanie. I am an alcoholic in recovery. And so I have some poetry. The first one, I just wanted to say that I've always loved the parable of the prodigal son from the Bible, where the younger son leaves home with his inheritance and lives a reckless and wayward life. After years of being away, he returns to his family, and his father rejoices in his return, never having lost his love of hope for his son. For many of us, recovery is a path that resembles that of the prodigal son. Our active addiction took us on a dark and reckless road, but our higher power has never let the light go dark as we are beckoned and brought home. I began my own recovery journey back in 2022. It has not been a straight, easy road. Rather, it has had its peaks, its valleys, its challenges, and its victories. But God doesn't give up and has been continually beckoning me closer and closer to home. So my first poem is called The Return of the Prodigal Daughter. I took a journey of my own will, one that kept me from being still. I helped others, but not myself. I put my heart on a shelf. Suffering came, misery followed. I found comfort in a bottle. I almost lost what I had gained. My life, my relationships got stained. I found, though, another road that led me back to my heart and not my head. I started the walk back home to the self I hadn't known. I am beginning to return to love myself for which I've yearned. And that self-love is God's cue for loving others to be true. And then I will know new love and light that will begin to flow. Thank you. Sorry, I'm a little nervous, I'm kind of shaky. And then the second poem is a poem I wrote when I was at Harmony Foundation for rehab, and we had open mic nights there, and so this is one that I wrote to us in recovery. We are held between mountains, we let go in the river of life. We cry when so moved, and laugh like those who have seen the bottom of the bottle do. Recovery is a journey, it is a freedom, it exists in nature and in between you and me. It is where everything comes together into one agreement. The agreement to seek a sober life, to serve others, to love ourselves, and be kind to all, including ourselves and our woundedness. To us in recovery, may we always feel held by something greater than ourselves. May the rivers of recovery allow us to be set free. Thank you very much.
Keep it going for Melanie. Melanie, thank you. This is the third year that we've produced this open mic in partnership with Free. And it has really grown into something special. And props to everybody that gets up here to perform. Many people doing it for the very first time in sobriety, getting on stage and sharing their art, which is just really incredible. Lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. We've had many performers on this stage, comedians, musicians, poets, a lot of folks who do it professionally who get paid to do it. And after the show, tell me how amazing the crowd is, how supportive it is to perform in front of the free Sober Open Mic Night crowd. So I just want to thank you all for showing up to support the folks that are getting on this stage. So we're going to keep it going. Next up, we've got Chris Mers. Chris, where are you at? He's coming from the back. Come on up, Chris. I was going to give you a heads up to give you some time to get up here, but I didn't. Sorry about that. All right, Chris is making his way. While Chris is coming up, again, I just want to thank everybody for being here. We're closing out National Recovery Month, which is September. Round of applause for National Recovery Month. Celebrating recovery, chipping away at the stigma that surrounds mental health, addiction, and addiction recovery. And raise your hand if you are a supporter of someone who is in recovery or struggling with substance use. Thank you. Give a round for those folks, please. Give a round for yourself. The allies and supporters in our lives are so important for our recovery and also to chip away at that stigma. And I'm done talking. Chris, come on up here. Give it up for Chris.
I had to go live before I came up because there was, it gets complicated when you're on your own sound guy. Sorry, we tune because we care. Close enough for government work. Okay, so I haven't played one of these in a while, probably closer to a year, I think, because I've been doing the sound for the last, for all this year, and it's been a wonderful experience, and I just appreciate the heck out of everyone who's involved with all this, and it's great to see so many familiar faces, and it's great to have my lovely wife, Tasha, out there in the audience. So the song I'm going to play, I was introduced to music and faith at the same time through folk music, and my grandfather kind of showed me what it meant to be grateful, showed me what it meant to be in faith, because he was living with terminal cancer, and he made it 30 years. They gave him a year to live. He made it 30 years. And he was the one who showed me what living close to the God of his understanding looked like. And, and through listening to his music, that's what gave me an understanding of what my family's tradition of faith meant, outside of any stigma, outside of any doctrination or anything like that. So I'm going to play a song that was written in the 60s during the civil rights movement by a Catholic friar. And if any of you know this song, please feel free to sing along.
We will work with each other. Yes, we'll work side by side. We will work with each other. Yes, we'll work side by side. And we'll guard each man's dignity and save each man's pride. And they'll know we are Christian by our love, by our love. They'll know that we are Christian by our love. All praise to the Father, from whom all blessings come, and all praise to Christ Jesus, His only Son, and all praise to the Holy Spirit that makes us one. And they'll know we are Christian by our love, by our love. They'll know that we are Christian by our love. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Chris. Chris has been such a huge help with our AV team. Let's actually hear it for the AV team, please. Got our great visuals, sound. Appreciate those guys. Chris mentioned something about kind of the first time getting introduced to music, and it made me think of that music used to be my life. I'm a percussionist. I play the drums. I used to play in a band when I was younger, and we'd play venues all over Denver and Colorado, and I was very young. I was 15 playing in 21 and up venues, and it was a lot of fun, but a very unhealthy environment for a 15-year-old. And that is really where my substance use took off. And I got away from music. I stopped playing. I found fitness. I found Phoenix. And I put all of my energy in that direction. And the Phoenix had offered me the opportunity to start our music program. So it wasn't until about 5 years ago. Most of our programming was fitness and like physical activity based, outdoor activities, a lot of that kind of stuff. And over the past 4 or 5 years, I increased our programming schedule to include lots of other things: music events, open mic nights, comedy events, live sporting events, etc. And so having this full circle moment of like loving music, being very involved, but having to leave it, to now coming back, being involved, not playing as much, but being involved with music in a much healthier setting, helping music venues create a more inclusive environment for artists and for fans, and helping spaces be more sober inclusive. So anyways, just wanted to share that. It's been great to be back by creative people and just music in general. So let's keep going. Thank you for sticking with us. We've got 3 more performers. I'm personally excited for this next performer. So Stone, come on up to the stage. Let's hear it for Stone, please.
Hi. My name is Stone. I'm a poet. I do a different form of poetry, which is called slam poetry. Slam poetry is a competitive art of poetry because we decided that poets were not sad enough already. So we decided to put numerical values on their art and trauma. And then you get people like me. But yeah, so I'm going to do some slam poems for you guys. If you have any questions about slam poetry, but slam poetry typically puts an emphasis on performance. So we're going to talk about two of my favorite things, which is my sex life and my sobriety. And we're going to do 2 poems. And I get the fuck out of here. The first draft of this poem was 8 pages long. It was an email to my therapist. And it was just the word fuck. In my notes app, I have unsent texts. One of them reads, "This is the loneliest I've ever been in my entire life," but I keep putting it into the text bar, but I can't figure out who I would even send it to. A guy catcalled me on the street yesterday, and I went like, oh my God, this is the most social interaction I've had in like 3 days. 2 of my friends have their locations shared with me. I watch their little dots dance around the same apartment building every night. I watch almost voyeuristically, and then I remember, that's weird. But I like having a secret that no one else knows. Secrets sometimes are my only company, but like most things, I can't keep them. 3 years ago, when I got out of my last long-term relationship, my therapist asked me if I thought I was going to die alone, and I told him, hey, not until you mentioned it. Also, for the record, I'm not going to die alone. I am going to die surrounded by cats. My therapist asked me once if I like my cat so much because she's the only person in my life where I feel like I don't have to earn her love, and I told him, hey, not until you mentioned it. Also, you should see my budget for catnip. I have earned her love for sure. My sister asked me to stop talking about my love life because she says it depresses her. I didn't really understand what she was talking about until I realized that I was talking about how I write Yelp reviews for restaurants if I eat there by myself so I can share the experience with someone. And I don't want you to hear this and have it sound like I don't have friends. I mean, I do, but also I keep the laundry on the other side of my bed so it feels less empty. And honestly, I'm like this close to tongue fucking an outlet just to feel a spark again. And I don't want you to hear this and have it sound like I'm desperate. I mean, I am, but also I've learned how to keep my own solidarity company. I know what it is like to be loved by someone who makes you feel more alone than you did before, so I am fine settling for battery-powered feelings. Whether it be my phone, some of you guys left too hard at that. What the fuck are y'all thinking about? Other devices. I write love poems in my notes app. They sit there on top of the unsent texts and my body count list and a note full of every password I've ever had in my entire life. And when it gets really bad, I pretend that the love poems are from someone else. I would write Timothée Chalamet at the bottom of them, but I don't know how to spell it. But when I read them back, they're actually kind of good sometimes. I'm a decent writer when I really try to be, when the loneliness instead turns itself into a form of productivity, which is not as often as I want. But I have to remind myself that being loved by me is a gift. And yeah, okay, maybe it's a gift where some people have kept the receipt, but it is a gift. And it's one that I'm ready to accept now. I write love poems to myself. Fucking perverts. And I signed my own name at the bottom. That was the first poem. In slam, you only do one poem, so I've never learned how to like transition in between poems. I'll give you guys an option because you guys are really cool and vibey. Do you want to hear like the daddy issues addiction shit poem or just like the normal addiction shit poem? Okay, I was gonna do the normal addiction shit poem. I wanted to see what like a room full of people calling me daddy would feel like. And I have to bring this up in therapy now. We're discovering things together as a community. It's fine. The next poem gets a little bit more intense. So if you don't want to hear a little bit more intense things about addiction, take care of yourself, dissociate, play Wordle on your phone. I don't give a fuck. The next poem is called Bad Dog, and then I'm going to leave. My girlfriends ask if it's okay to drink in front of me, and I say, of course, but they know me. They know that I am good. They leave glasses of white wine half full on coffee tables, and I consider how well-trained of an alcoholic they must consider me to be to leave something close enough to touch. And no, I will not give in. When the night ends, I pour the nearly full glasses down the drain, resisting the urge to lunge after every last drop, but I resist. And afterwards, I glow with pride over what a good addict I am. A few days later, at the open mic, a man offers me a sip of his old-fashioned. He reeks of cigarettes and whiskey, and I reek of water, probably. It's the only thing I have been drinking, but he must have seen how my eyes went wide at the sight of the brown liquid in the glass, the way a shark does when it smells blood in the water. He does not know that I'm sober. He does not know it was 6 months just last week. He doesn't know how easy it would be for me to fuck this up. He doesn't know I have been in meetings week after week trying to file down my teeth, trying to get my mouth to stop watering for every clink of a glass that sounds like a bell, but I resist. And I tell him I'm an alcoholic. It's a word that I'm getting more and more used to saying without shame, and I watch as he pulls his drink away like it is a chihuahua, and I am a Doberman who would take its neck into my mouth and squeeze the life out of it. He thinks I am a bad dog, even though I've never snapped at him. He sees me and is afraid, and I have to explain that a dog doesn't bite until it has to, and I don't drink until I have to. A dog bites to protect itself from others, but I drink to protect myself from me and myself and my feelings, and I'm the only one here who is bleeding. He doesn't see that. He doesn't see that alcoholism's been taking mouthfuls out of me. He thinks I'm a bad dog. I am a good dog. I promise I can be a good dog. I want to be a good dog. I am a good dog. That has had bad things happen to it. And I'm sorry that he doesn't see the difference yet. And I'm sorry that neither do I. Thank you guys so much. This was so much fun.
Wow. Keep it going for Stone. Holy smokes. That was incredible. I think that was my first slam poetry experience. And what a way to kick it off, Stone. Thank you so much for that. Stone's also a Phoenix volunteer. So volunteers are critical to what we're to our mission. We can't do it alone, so if you're interested in volunteering, we've got other volunteers in the crowd as well. Appreciate you all for all of your help and support. Wow, let's keep it going. We've got 2 more performers. We've got a performer coming up next who performs at the Second Chance Comedy Show with Joe. His name is Vaughn Sprecken. Vaughn, come on up to the stage. Let's hear it for Vaughn, please.
On. Oh, there I am. Hi, how's it going, everybody? Cool. I get to do comedy after whatever the fuck that was, Stone. That was... We're actually good buds, and they were like, hey, do you want me to make it hard on you? And I was like, I bet you can't. And I was wrong. Okay. Oh, I shouldn't have so much confidence in myself. It's okay. How's everyone doing? Actually, I kind of want to work on my storytelling, so I want to tell you guys a little story I've been working on. So when I was younger, I always used to try and hide what a huge nerd I am, even though I was the kind of kid growing up that, like, when I got grounded, my parents took my Harry Potter books away because I didn't care if they just took my stupid phone or TV, you know? And jokes on them, when they took it away, I had extra copies stashed under my bed. So... But the thing is, like, this was before nerdy stuff kind of went mainstream, you know? This is, like, back in the 90s, and, like, I mean, I was raised in an abusive home. I was always so scared of getting picked on, of looking weak, that I kind of kept my hobbies to myself. And it wasn't until after I had already, gotten hooked on drugs, went to rehab, got clean, and then I finally found a career, and I got stable in that career. And it wasn't until my late 20s that I started kind of opening up and thinking, like, it's okay to like what I like and do what I want to do. I started doing more nerdy things. I started doing stand-up comedy, which was like, had always been a dream, but I'd never had the courage to do it. And I was maybe a year into comedy when one of my nerdy friends sent me a flyer for a contest. This was the 2019 Pop Culture Con Tournament of Laughs. And I was like, I've never heard of Pop Culture Con. It'll probably be me and like 50 other nerds in a conference room somewhere, but whatever, I'm here for it. That sounds fun. because unbeknownst to me, 2019 was the year that San Diego Comic-Con called in their trademark, right? So no other convention can be called Comic-Con. I don't know it until 5 days before showtime that actually this is the biggest nerd convention in Colorado and several surrounding states. I will not be performing in front of 50 other nerds. I will be on the main stage at the main event in front of all the nerds in Colorado, okay? So I did what anyone would do. I freaked right the fuck out. I was up for 5 days straight, fueled by nothing but caffeine and adrenaline, thinking like, oh God, I gotta rehearse, I gotta practice, I gotta write the perfect joke. How do I make, it's gotta be family friendly. How do I make Game of Thrones jokes family friendly? I have no idea. So, and then, finally the day of the contest comes, and keep in mind, this isn't just my first big contest, this is my first convention, and so I am surrounded by everything I've ever loved. I'm running around trying to see everything in a day. The lightsabers, and the costumes, and all the coffee they would sell me, and finally, so we reached the end of the day, and somehow I have made it to the third and final round of this comedy contest. Now, I look out in the theater, there's I don't know, it's not full, but at least 1,000 people, more than I could count. I don't know. Now, granted, they're not there to see us, but after us on the main stage, the Doc and Biff from Back to the Future are gonna be there, so that's a huge draw. Lots of people for that. Now, it's down to me and one other guy. My opponent is a professional cosplayer who looks exactly like Benedict Cumberbatch, and he's in his full Doctor Strange outfit, so that was surreal. And on top of that, unbeknownst to me, he's also an actual professional comedian. So I was just I didn't even know this until he goes out on stage and he just starts murdering. He is so much better than me. My first thought was the contest is rigged. There's no way I can win. So I go out for my turn and I'm just whatever. I'm just gonna have fun with it. And I start talking to the other nerds in the crowd and just start gushing to them about oh my God, you guys, this is my first ever convention. I've had so much fun. I've been walking around all day. My feet hurt. Do your feet hurt? And they're just yes. And then I hit him with this. I was just be honest, you guys even here because you heard there was comedy or just because you heard there was chairs? And that killed. Because remember, they're not even there to see me. They're you're right, I did just want to sit down. It murdered it. From that moment on, I had them. I could do no wrong because they're screw that last guy. He was perfect, but this guy, he's one of us. Even when I messed up a punchline, they were I would have messed that one up too, buddy. You go, So it comes time to pick a winner for the contest, and it's gonna be by audience noise, audience applause. And they got a little sound meter, and guys, it was so close, but I won. I actually fucking won. I didn't think I could. I couldn't believe it. Look, if you watch the Marvel movies, Doctor Strange is master of the multiverse. He's basically a god, and I just beat him at comedy. I'm out of my mind. Every positive natural chemical that the brain produces, I am being flooded with it. I've never experienced this level of approval before. They call my name, and the guy is about to, even the girl that comes to hand me my trophy looks just like my toxic ex-girlfriend who didn't think I was funny at all. And here's her twin handing me a trophy hey, here, this trophy for being so funny. It even says, presented by Canada on it. What does that mean? They were a sponsor. I would have thought this was a dream. This sounds like I made it up, but no, we have a video of me, they're calling my name, and I'm just in shock. I just go, wow, and I held out my hand to Doctor Strange, all awkward, good game, God. I don't know what to do. It's crazy seeing this video because, the brain, when it's overwhelmed, you go into fight, flight, or freeze. I am straight froze. I have tried every drug, but I am higher than I have ever been in my life. Standing there with a trophy, just hey, this guy, he was perfect, I was relatable, yay, I don't know. So, now who's ready for consequences? It cost me more than I thought it would because here's the thing, I have not been taking care of myself for the last week. I have been so obsessed with writing the perfect set that, I've been fueled by the caffeine and the adrenaline and everything above the shoulders seems like it's going great. It's yeah, we're rehearsing, we're writing, we're accomplishing things. But then once the adrenaline starts to wear off, my head has to check back in with my body and it's wow, that was cool. Oh God, we've been dead for 3 days. What happened? I haven't been eating, I haven't been sleeping, I'm severely dehydrated, I've had some massive, legendary hangovers in my life, but none of them were worse than what I did just trying to be good at comedy. And what's really crazy about this, it took me days to recover. I had to call out of work, and I was, so upset talking to my boss on the phone, because I was she's are you sure you're sick? You can't come in? And I was yeah, and in my head I was and it's all my fault. But as I was recovering, it occurred to me, I didn't even need to do this to myself. Like, why did I do this? You know, like I had been working so hard, but the real work wasn't some manic rush of writing at the last minute. Like, I'd been working for this my whole life and not even realizing it. I Mr. Miyagi'd myself. Like, I did. Because the real work was back when I was 10 years old, reading Harry Potter so many times the books had to be taken from me. You know, like the real work was back when I was 15, spending all day researching the Star Wars extended universe on Wikipedia. And I'm not being cute, that's the real website. But the point is, like, I didn't win because I was a perfect comedian. I won because I was brave enough to put myself in front of a room full of people that were just so excited that I was so excited. And whether you're in a contest or not, you really can't lose when you surround yourself with people that are so happy just to see you be you. Thank you.
All right, Vaughn, that was awesome. Thank you. All right, last performer. This is it for the night. I appreciate you all. The next Sober Open Mic Night is November 14th here at Free. I want to thank CARE and Hornbuckle Foundation for their support. I also want to thank Free for their partnership. And quick shameless plug, if you like Halloween and you're looking for a sober, supportive space to celebrate, get dressed up, and go to a wicked party, go to the Phoenix on October 26th from 7 to 9 p.m. You can chat with me out there afterward. Full DJ production, LED dance floor, NA craft beverages. We're going to have some dancers and performers, photo booth, mask making, the whole nine. It's going to be a party, October 26th. All right, our last performer, we've got Serena. Come on up to the stage. There Serena is.